You're welcome to the AM News. Now, an Accra High Court is expected to rule on the bail application by lawyers of ACP Benjamin Agojo on January 21st. This follows some additional documents filed last week by his lawyers to push for his bail pending trial. Henry Kwesi sat through the proceedings in court on Thursday, and this report is read to you.
The senior police officer has been in police custody after two bail applications by his lawyers were denied in November 2019 by an Accra High Court. He is accused of involvement in a plan to topple the government. Lawyers of ACP Agojo, led by Martin Kpebu, filed indentures of proposed sureties, adding the senior police officer is not a flight risk. Mr. Kpebu says the top police officer is eager to see the commencement of trial to clear his name of all the charges leveled against him. Senior State Attorney Hilda Craig argued that ACP Agojo could use his position to interfere with investigations if he is released on bail. She added that witnesses from the Bureau of National Investigations, National Security and the Police Service who will testify against him could be compromised once the senior police officer is on bail. In a swift reply, Mr. Kpebu told the court that failure to grant ACP Agojo bail constitutes a serious violation of his human rights. ACP Agojo, who is facing a treason charge, is alleged to have assisted the leader of the alleged coup plotters, Dr. Frederick Yao Mark Palm, and some 8 others, including some military officers, in a plot to overthrow the Akufo-Addo administration. The court, presided over by His Lordship Justice Eko Baden, will next week rule on the said case.
Now, the overlord of the Dagbon states, Yana Abukari Mohama, says he will not tolerate attempts by some disgruntled individuals to disturb the peace in Dagbon. The Yana, who was enskined last year after almost 2 decades of instability in the area, was at the Jubilee House to formally present himself to President Akufo-Addo. In a speech read on his behalf, he indicated his resolve to address all chieftaincy crises in the Dagbon area.
Later, I will become the next Yana and the duty bearer, the odious task and responsibility of shepherding my people along this new journey of peace and transformation. In the past year of my reign, I worked alongside my court and advisors to foster a sense of unity in Dagbon. It is gratifying to announce that out of the 36 vacant skins made available on the performance of the funerals of deceased chiefs, I selected and skinned 25 members of the Abudu family and 11 members of the Anden family. This is meant to promote peace and unity and send a strong signal to the world about our commitment to the peace that we have achieved for Dagbon. Mr. President, as I declare in my investiture oath, I stand to spend the rest of my life, be it short or long, to unite the people of Dagbon in peace and along fair and equitable access to the traditional skills and resources of Dagbon. I cannot achieve this alone without the genuine and partial support of the government taking into cognizance the recent past history of Dagbon. Certainly, when you attempt to embark on a new direction of sustainable peace, few dissenters who try to undermine us for their selfish gains. Mr. President, I appeal to you and all stakeholders to provide zero tolerance for such unscrupulous persons and their cohorts. Today, we are in a few pages of new chapter of peace. I'd like, on behalf of the chiefs and the people of Dagbon, to thank you for your support for our kingdom up to this level. We would also like to thank the 4-led committee of eminent chiefs and his staff for their tireless efforts.
In a speech, President Akufo-Addo said government's ongoing projects to give the northern region a massive facelift can only progress in an atmosphere of peace. He therefore charged indigents of Dagbon to protect and preserve the peace.
Efforts. I said at the investiture of Yana Mahama Abukari II that I was confident he would discharge his duties with distinction, as he was a man of experience and dignity. Thus far, I have not been proved wrong. With government determined to exploit and add value to the iron ore deposits at Shaney, to finish the second phase of the Tamale Airport project, to construct the Tamale interchange, the first of its kind in the northern sector of the country, to see to the imminent completion of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, to upgrade the Yendi Government Hospital to a befitting status, to promote the sustainable development of agriculture in the area, and soon to commence the Yendi Wat project, it is evident that great days lie ahead for Dagbon under the stewardship of Yana Mahama Abukari II. The fruits of these developments can only be appreciated by the people of Dagbon if the peace being enjoyed there is nurtured and maintained, and if chieftains' disputes are not allowed to become a part of the fabric of the great state of Dagbon, nor any part of our country. Development can never take place in an atmosphere of confusion and chaos.
Now, the governing New Patriotic Party has pegged its filing fees at 200,000 Ghana cedis for presidential candidate aspirant of the party. Parliamentary aspirant will also pay 20,000 Ghana cedis for its presidential and parliamentary primaries scheduled for 25th of April this year. Aspirant will also pay for nomination forms and development fees. Speaking at a news conference here in Accra, General Secretary of the party, John Boedu, justified the amounts, saying the organization of such elections require a lot of money.
We expect that this process that we are engaging ourselves in will be self-financing. If you remember, when we did that of the orphan constituencies, we were able to finance it totally and even have excess resources to support our constituency parties. So we are able to resource our constituency parties regularly. This process is not different from that. And we are talking about having 150,000 people converging at a place for this exercise. If you are to foot their transportation and ice water, not food, and decide to give them 50 Ghana cedis, that is 7.5 million Ghana cedis per individual. We are lucky we are doing both at the same time. So we'll have some resources arising out of the sitting members' fees that we are going to take, in addition to the development fee we are going to take, so that we'll be able to finance the process. So, and we are not asking whoever wants to be presidential candidate to only dip his hands or her hands in his pocket or her pocket. If you have reached the state of wanting to become presidential candidate, then people must believe in you. Now, we don't only have 10 regions, we have 16 regions. So if you have people across the country who want to give 20,000, you have some surplus for other activities. And you are expected to campaign as well. So this is just some, it looks big if you are looking at it from that perspective or from the perspective of you and I. But that's why we are not yet there. When we get there, we'll be able to raise the resources to be able to mount. And you are going to be presidential candidate, you are going to mount a national campaign. And you understand what that means. 200,000 will only buy 10,000 T-shirts.
Well, on reports that the party is planning for some candidates to go unopposed, the General Secretary stated the party will provide a level playing field for all candidates.
About opposed, unopposed, and all that are things that is spicing the parliamentary primaries. It is not a decision of the party, and the party will do everything to make sure that we provide fair play field for everybody. We are fair to everybody and make sure that those who are, that does not prevent any party person from convincing anybody from contesting. That is the right that we reserve. And it is the right of the individual to accept or not to accept. There's nothing like opposed, there's nothing like unopposed. We open nomination, give the forms to the constituency parliamentary vetting committee. We've said that nobody should be denied access to the forms. If it happens that anybody even is denied, he can appeal to region and national. National Parliamentary Vetting Committee composed of national reps and regional reps will vet aspiring candidates and make recommendation. Even constituency executive, regional executive can pass recommendation on will be aspirant. After the process, they present all the forms to the National Secretariat. If anybody has any reason to challenge the recommendation of the National Parliamentary Vetting Committee, he has a duty and right to appeal to the National Appeals Committee. And after the work of the National Appeals Committee, they give their recommendation to the National Executive Committee, whose words will be final. So,
well, we'll still stay with party politics, but this time turn our attention to the opposition National Democratic Congress. Well, they've launched a drive to raise funds for their 2020 elections campaign. Flag bearer of the party, John Mahama, who led the launch of the digital platform, appealed to the rank and file of the party to support the cause of what he describes as the first step to rescue Ghanaians from the shackles and misery under the current administration. The former president, in his address, also argued that an electronic payment platform would enhance transparency and address concerns over political party financing.
Begins a process which will allow for broad participation in the financing of the NDC and its activities. The electronic payment platform will allow all Ghanaians, not only registered members of the NDC, to contribute, no matter how small, to the running of the NDC and our campaign in election 2020 and beyond. Over the years, many have expressed some misgivings about the opacity that characterizes political party financing in Ghana. I believe that this new, transparent and accountable electronic initiative will go a long way to dispel these concerns. We're demonstrating clearly that we in the NDC believe in openness and transparency in the way the affairs of our party are handled, and we are ready and willing to do better in our next government come 2021 by the grace of God Almighty.
And we're in the news in Parliament as members of Parliament have joined calls on the police to speed up processes aimed at bringing the killers of investigative journalist Ahmed Swale to justice. The MPs say delay in bringing the perpetrators to book is bad for the image of the country and not healthy for the family. Kumbungu MP Ras Mubarak and Busa South MP Dr. Clement Apak wants the police to sit up.
We expect the state, we expect state institutions to do what is right, regardless of whose ox may be God. And I think it is a national embarrassment. I think it is an indictment. It is a blot on media freedom and indeed the effort to stamp out corruption. If we cannot protect the likes of Ahmed Swale, the likes of other journalists who have come under attack, like Manasseh Azure Awuni, like Edward Adita, and many others, for exposing acts of corruption, then clearly we cannot be purporting to be serious in fighting the canker of corruption.
This is to encourage the security agencies to work harder and bring a closure to investigations into his murder. I mean, it's sad to think that a year ago, a journalist would be murdered in a manner that he was taken out in our country, which by and large or largely is credited for upholding the tenets of journalism and supporting journalists across the country.
And that's it for the AM News. Thank you for watching, but still stay with us. After this, we'll bring you the review segment. My colleague Komla Adum will join me as we do that. We'll touch base with some news portals, online portals as well, including our own, myjoyonline.com. Please stay with us.